What's up? I'm going to do a little bit of work. I think with the flail mower, my main goal today is to use my ratchet rake over there, pop around the bucket, and clean up, continue kind of working on this edge line along here. I pulled down a bunch of branches and shoved them into the woods the other day, so I want to try and put them a little bit deeper into the woods and kind of smash them down into smaller pieces. And I don't know, see where what other tasks find me. I'm going to put the flail mower on because I suspect there's probably going to be somewhere I can use that. So, alright, let's get started. Ready to go to battle. Alright, well I think this turned out pretty good. I was pretty much just going back and forth into the woods, pushing things in, and you know, I realized I'm kind of making a bigger mess before I actually clean anything up, but you know, my plan is to get in there with a chainsaw and kind of section things up once they're in big bundles like that, and then, I don't know, just further push it down the hill and I don't know, make it a problem for another day, make it so I don't have to see it, and let it break down deeper into the woods where I don't have any intention of ever really going. But yeah, this little project, kind of been spending more time on this. I'm still working on that front pond. It's just it's so wet. It's been raining non-stop here, and it's much less wet here. So this turned out nice. I drove over it back and forth a few times to kind of pack it down. I know I'll have to hit it again probably with the rake once everything settles, since I ripped out a couple pretty good sized roots out of there. I guess I missed a spot. But yeah, this is coming along. And it does, you can kind of see the water through there. That kind of shiny stuff is the pond area. So I want to get my pole saw eventually and continue to trim up the trees all the way through, so that we can have a nice view from the house and just have a nice woods to look at. This little wooded area has never been taken care of. So I'm just trying to improve it a little bit, and I think they call it creative destruction. Sometimes you gotta make a big mess and destroy a lot of stuff in order to create something new and useful and interesting and all those things. So that's what I'm trying to do here. We'll see how it goes. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna head in. The mosquitoes are starting to come out, and in the county next to us, they just announced they found some really weird mosquito disease that's going around, and I can see the mosquitoes. So I'm gonna head in so I don't get anything weird like that. Alright, thanks for joining me. See you on the next one. I'm down by the pond today, and this is where I was flail mowing earlier. I'm gonna run the pole saw and start trimming up the tree line here along the pond, so I can get a little bit better access with the tractor and get a little bit more light down into the woods. So there they do it. Look at this tree. That's some new damage. Looks like woodpeckers probably getting at all the bugs.
top already came off of that, but it's probably a 40-foot piece of wood there. I can already see a crack right there in the middle. I don't think it's in any danger of hitting anything. It's on the downside of the hill. It's probably just gonna fall that way, or right where I'm standing. I didn't get too much done in here. I was working, and luckily I generally keep in mind to look up as I'm working to make sure there's nothing hanging above me. Limbs mostly, but wasp nests are certainly another one. That one was right above where I was cutting. I was actually about to cut that limb. I don't see any wasps coming out of that one. I was about to cut it. I'm going to leave it for now, obviously. And then I started working in here a little bit. And when I finished to go down there, I looked up and saw yet another wasp nest right there. Those were probably the 2 colonies that lived on my house last year that I had to, well, I thought I destroyed them, but obviously the queens got away. But they know my face now, so they may have it out for me. Alright, well, you know, I try not to mess with wasps when I can avoid it, but both of those nests look abandoned, so I'm going to try to work on this little spot here, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. Alright, well, it looks like a huge mess, because pretty much I just cut everything as high as I could reach and dropped it. But the other thing at play here, you can see there, back in there, a massive tree, I think it was an oak tree, fell down some time ago. I think it was down when we moved in, so I don't know, like 3 years ago. There's pieces of it. I mean, it was a big tree. Actually, I think you can see the trunk of it right here sticking up. Yeah, that's where it originated. I would guess from here, that's probably like 3 feet at the base, maybe a hair less. So anyway, that is all tangled in all of this. So there's old dead limbs, there's rose thorn bushes, and all sorts of crazy stuff growing. This is a mess, but I'm trying to get it cleaned up here. Yeah, this is a really nice spot down here. It's real quiet, at least compared to the road noise out front. And just nice to be down here. So, trying to make it a little more enjoyable. I'll come through here probably another day with the ratchet rake on the Kubota and start pushing all this stuff into a pile. I haven't yet decided where I want my burn pile to be down here. This area kind of lends itself to it because it has this kind of wide open flat area, and I'd probably do it like right here next to the water's edge. But anyway, still trying to figure that out. I think I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, I'm probably going to call it a night. Alright, thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next one. Alright, well, this is the area I've been clearing for what seems like most of my life at this point. It's all starting to grow back in, So I think I have a wagon of things today. I'm focusing on the front pond because I keep getting distracted on the back woods because it looks so nice and pretty there. And it makes such a dramatic difference when I make changes back there. But the front, it'll have its own dramatic effect as well when I'm done with it. So I want to get the rest of this stuff cleared out. So I have a chainsaw, I have a pole saw, I have the brush blade, brush hog fitting for the string trimmer. So I think I'm going to go through here with the brush blade first, clean up some of this, and then get the pole saw. And there's still water down in there. I want to see how much I can get done today. I got about 2 hours, so let's see how this goes. My daughter said it was okay for me to borrow her wagon, by the way. That used to be my wife's when she was a kid. That's an old wagon. I like to lie to myself and say I'm gonna like fix it up someday and restore it, but I think we all know how that goes. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, I'm not sure how noticeable that'll be since I was working in it the whole time, but got a new pile there, pulled out a couple logs, there's a new pile there. I trimmed these trees up a lot higher. Man, these burn piles are getting big. I gotta take care of them. I'm only allowed to have a certain size burn, so I'm trying to keep these piles separate so I can kind of start with this one, which is in the pond a little bit, and then with the tractor push that one in, push this in, and while I'm down there probably throw stuff in there. So there's a lot of material here. Yeah. Grapple would be nice for the old tractor, but not in the plans in the near future. So this is looking good. I came through here with the brush hog attachment. I trimmed up this tree a little bit. Man, I thought I'd get more done, but I think that's pretty respectable. It's so dense in there, and everything just grows up and around each other. It's just a mess. But you can see the water. I mean, there's a good amount in here. So yeah, once the winter comes, I can try to, I don't know, get in and mow down some more of the stuff that I won't be able to get to when it's not frozen. So, okay, well, that's pretty much it for tonight. Yeah, you can see another pile over there. Actually, I did a fair amount of work on this side. So, this is all just muck. Okay. Yeah, so before I couldn't even get to that tree, so there's a pile here, a couple piles up here. But it looks good, especially with the trimmed up trees. These branches are mostly from this tree here. Getting more light in there, more airflow, and hopefully eventually just have a nice area to look at and for birds and whatnot to come hang out. Okay, that's it for me. Hi, that's it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Who's in here? It's you. Hello. You're in the garden. What do you think of this place? Hello. We are in the garden. Just doing a little cleanup. There's still strawberries coming in, still raspberries. Wife's picking those. I was going to try to pull out some of the big weeds. I haven't been in here in quite some time. It's gotten awfully covered. I might actually roll out some of that black tarp over this. So we're just hanging out here and having a good time. Got a lot of cantaloupe coming in. We've gotten a great cantaloupe harvest this year. A lot of stuff starting to look dead. You see piles of tomatoes as they've come in. Got a little bit of corn this year. Corn's always Yeah, the way we do it probably isn't great. We just do a straight line of it. I think the best way to plant corn is probably in a cluster, like a 20 by 20 foot cluster. But maybe some other time. Yeah, so I was thinking about just ripping out some of the big weeds and just walking up and down the rows. I don't know. We'll see how far I get into that. I mean, at some point I'm just gonna chip all of this up and cover it. Isn't that right, little baby? Sweetest little baby in the world. Alright, well, and we got a lot of pumpkins. We're probably gonna have a little pumpkin party at some point soon to have family. Bless you. Bless you, dear sweet child. What was I saying? Oh, anyway, we're probably gonna have people come over and have a pumpkin picking party. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, I'm outside of the garden now. I moved that old deflated pool, which is pretty much now just a thick piece of plastic, over to where that grass, I just have not been able to kill that grass there. But I got all the strawberries there weeded, and now I'm gonna go pull a couple weeds in the raspberry patch, which is also still producing. My wife just brought in probably 10 pounds of raspberries. It's been working well having the netting on there. There's a local berry patch that said they've had unprecedented damage losses due to birds, and I believe it. I never even thought there were this many raspberries in here, but I mean, look at how many raspberries are being put on some of these. The bees are loving it. I've never seen this row this big. They were also just getting mowed down by all sorts of critters, and back there the blackberries have finally taken off. Wow, this is incredible. Very cool. So these are the blackberries. I'm inside the raspberries right now, and raspberry patch, and man, is it beautiful in here. Just looking at all these, the 3 rows of plants, and this one right in front of me, it's gotta have hundreds of bees on it. Just swarming all around it. Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, one obvious downside is I'm kneeling right now, and the netting is kind of on my head. I used 6 or 7 foot poles to kind of hold it up. I mean, I knew it'd be short, but if nothing else, this was kind of a proof of concept of just what I was trying to do here. So I'm actually kind of thinking next spring I might sink some probably some 12-foot posts on the corners, so that I put them down about 4 feet, just like I did in the garden over there, and maybe have an 8-foot of post sticking out of the ground, and then run like a steel guy wire all around the perimeter, and then pretty much raise everything up to about 8 feet. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, but I'm just happy to see this stuff is coming in. I just ate a huge blackberry that I found back there, and I should have recorded it because it was massive and it tasted very good. But I was hungry, so I ate it. Okay, I'm gonna make my way out of here. I pulled a bunch of just big weeds that were growing. This whole row was raspberries that we salvaged from another area on this property. I was getting ready to mow it all down, and we dug up all of these and planted them, and they're coming in. They just never had a chance out here really to grow big, because they either get eaten by deer or what have you. The rest of these we ordered from the internets. I think they're from Oregon. Alright, well, that's enough for me for tonight. I'm gonna head in. Thanks for joining me. See ya.